We're going to do a quick Q&A right now, just so that we're starting to wrap things up here. How many people have ever been in that situation with Lucas where you're trying to sell your good or your service to somebody who you thought was maybe analytical, but they ended up being more amiable? Anybody been in that situation? Right, you're talking the wrong language. You're speaking English, but they're not hearing what you're saying, right? Or an expressive, which I can relate to. I walk into trying to sell, health insurance to somebody who's a driver, and I'm talking about how fun it is, because that's the way I like to be communicated with. Whoa, 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 time out. Be brief, be bright, be gone. Boom, 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 boom. Next? Okay, right? Good principles, thank you for that. Anybody get some good stuff out of that? Yeah, anybody want to share what they may have learned from just the personality section? Yeah, what's your name?
Danietta.
Danietta, it's a pretty name.
Thank you.
Could you share with us what you've learned?
Well, I learned that I don't know a lot about personalities and how to distinguish them in the moment.
Great first step.
So I was wondering if there is, this packet is great. I mean, I have to go through it. But what I would like when he was doing that is while I'm on the phone talking to clients, I would love to have an explanation of the different personality types, so I can be consistently reminded of the type of person that I'm talking to. Oh, wow.
There you go. Challenge, solution.
Wow, how
That's
cool
what we're
is
about,
that?
right?
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And obviously we can't put everything on a 3x5 card,
Sure.
but it's a good start, and we can get deeper. Hang on, because there's a couple things coming up that we can address about that. Thank you for bringing that up. And the 530 grid, wow, outstanding information. Thank you. Did anybody get the idea that Mark owns the 530 grid? Right? Right. I mean, he understands what it's about, and I thought that was an interesting principle. It's too long a time in 10 minutes, and it's too short a time. There's just so many things to go over. But I like what you said about opening up our databases. How many people know that they have 250 people, right? 250 times all of these networks. Maybe somebody doesn't need health insurance, but they would love to work with Mark and get some real estate, or they'd love to work with Peter and have a healthier, more fit life, right? I mean, that's what this is about. That's what this is about. And I love the sometimes we move from the marketing into pre-sales and jump to sale to service. Like, hey, guilty of that. How many is guilty? How many can relate to that, right, with Mark? Anybody get something out of what Mark said? What specifically did you get from the 530 grid? One thing. It's a lot of good information. One good thing. Yes,
I think
John?
it's a good roadmap to be able to, anytime to see in the sales cycle, where am I? I need to locate myself in the cycle. Where am I? Get clear about what's the next step, or do I need to go back and take care of something that's not handled yet? I think it's a great roadmap.
That's gold.
To a sales cycle.
Right? Because we get in the sales cycle and we get lost from the forest of the trees, don't we? If we have a roadmap, we'll know where we are. Yeah.
Well, like Mark, I go from pre-sales to servicing.
Okay.
So this grid, as I'm not very familiar with it, but as I get more familiar with it, I had a feeling that this could really keep me on track.
Excellent. Yeah, it does keep you on track. Yeah, absolutely. Great information. And then moving into Gregory's portion on the DNA, the natural laws here. Honesty, integrity, growth. Begin with the end in mind. How often do we think we have what we know we think we need, but we're not even beginning with the end in mind. We're just jumping into something, and now then we get lost, and now we need the 530 grid, and we don't even know what personality we're talking to. I mean, it's over. Game over. Mark.
So many times in real estate, the instructors teach you, have your exit strategy before you buy.
Wow.
So that hammers you home when he brings up, that's a natural law, that is fixed. He was talking about the lighthouse. The lighthouse doesn't move.
Right.
And sometimes I'm looking at a house and I don't, think about, how am I going to get out of this if I'm, when I finish it? Maybe it's not in the right neighborhood, maybe it's not on the right street, maybe it's too much for this neighborhood. What am I going to do? If I don't have the right exit strategy, that natural law doesn't move.
That's right. Right? Yes, what was your name?
Dominic.
Just the
Dominic.
website.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I mean, it actually works with something that I'm working on. I'm a computer programmer.
Okay,
And right now I'm working with a system called Ruby on Rails.
mm-hmm,
And what they're teaching me to do right now is create your test to see if what you're doing works first, and then you build the system to make your tests pass.
wow. That's good, so you see how the parachute principle can help that, right? You're kind of testing your own parachute before you're jumping out of the plane.
Yeah.
That's good, right? Another takeaway, one more takeaway? Anything we had here? Good stuff today, right? I like that, the kerplop principle. It kind of drives it home, doesn't it? Wow. The principle of synergy, the principle of delayed planting today, and the harvest is going to come. How often are we making phone calls or meeting people and we're like, I'm done with this. This is just not working. But we're like, we have to have that mentality of a farmer, don't we? All right? Because we know the harvest is going to come. We just have to be patient with it. Any other takeaways? Yes, John.
This is more of a concern
Okay,
about something rather
good.
than a question.
Yeah.
So if I have a database, let's say of 7,000 people,
Mm-hmm.
and I just start giving it to everyone in my mastermind group, and there's going to be people that will call me and say, John, how come you gave me, I didn't expect you to give my name and number to all these people that are starting to call me now. Where there's kind of a trust, I think, that is in place, should be in place with my contacts. It's like, if you sign up at JCPenney, you don't want them selling your names at every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
That's a good point.
Right.
Does anybody have a solution to that? Yes.
Don't give your database out to just everybody. Do that with the people you trust because you've been in a mastermind group, you have an understanding, and you can refer them based on successes that you've had, which in the 530 grid, box 12, I know this is a good guy. So I can recommend him. I can say that this guy's got something. If you're not interested in this, just pass on the email. Right? And so you've endorsed that person. If you're not willing to endorse them, don't open your database.
Good point. Does that help?
Yeah.
One other solution? Any other solution to that? Yes, Mark?
I think if you lead, John, with something of added value to your database, for instance, everybody has some interest in real estate. And so if you said, hey, I connected in a mastermind group with somebody, and they have this really cool white paper that you might be interested in, you're not even endorsing the person. You're just saying, here's something of value, and if they're interested, they're interested.
So I would touch them first.
You would touch them with the introduction and say, hey, I ran across this, and a white paper is wonderful because if they're interested, they can download. And if they're not interested, they don't have to. So you're not intrusive to your database, but you're opening it up as something of added value.
That helps.
Good.
Way cool.
Excellent. Good.